Hello and welcome back to the Channel M Football Debate Show. Me and Ian are delighted to be joined by City fan Fred Pratt and United fan Ian Sterling. Ian, people have been getting involved.
They have, and if you want to get involved, it's today at channelm.co.uk. The strap will be up in a minute with the address. All your thoughts are welcome, of course. We've got one here from Alex Burgess saying, you talk about players that don't put a shift in for City. What about Berbatov at United? He's absolutely terrible, is what he said. And on to Jim in the city centre. He wants to make a point to you, Ian. He remembers the last time you were on. He says, do you still think Michael Owen is better than Carlos Tevez? Before you answer it, take a look at this.
I would have been more concerned, to be honest, if Macheda had gone to City, you know, rather than Tevez. We will get the better end of the deal with Owen coming to us than Tevez being there. And I think you'd agree with that, really, Fred, wouldn't you?
Well, no, I don't actually. And I think, I think if you had a poll of football fans in Britain and said who you'd rather have, Michael Owen or Carlos Tevez, I think the money's on my back with that one.
Sometimes, the trade is coming back to bite you on the bum. Ian?
I'm happy to defend those comments. There's no problem with that. I mean, you know, we've got to look at the overall picture of how much Tevez cost City and how much Owen has cost United. And I think we've got a pretty good return at the moment from Owen. He hasn't played much since he scored his hat-trick. You know, there's quite a few players in front of him.
We have
to find the right partnership for Owen. You know, Berbatov has been off his game. He's carrying a bit of a knee injury. You know, so, you know, we're only halfway through the season yet. I'm hoping for a more productive second half. Tevez has had a little run. It wasn't so long ago, you know, when all the City fans were on Tevez's back. You know, what would they call him? The rich man's Vassell. You know,
I don't remember that.
The man who can turn a goal kick into a corner, you know, needs 3 chances to score one. They were all on his back having a go at him. You know, all right, he's had a little run. He's played a few weak teams. He should be banging him in, really, for them. But, you know, he didn't want to stay at United. He didn't want to stay there. He wanted to take the money off at City. But let's see at the end of the season to who's been the better value.
So, Tevez? He did, I have to agree with you, he did start off a little bit slower than I would have liked at City, but once he's hit the straps, Fred, he's been looking quite impressive for the last few weeks, albeit not, as Ian says, against the highest calibre of opposition.
He's been playing really well. One of the things about Tevez is he would keep going back to this cliche, putting a shift in. I haven't seen a player in a blue shirt work as hard as what Carlos Tevez worked for a long time. He really does work so hard. He's great at holding the ball up. But one of the things that he will do, and he's not scared to give his teammates a rollicking. You know, he'll really be in the face if he does something wrong. So, yeah, I've been pleased with Tevez, and the fact that he's come from the dark side, and so it makes it even better, doesn't it? You know, and it'd be nice when he maybe scores some other, but I'd be more happier when he scores at Old Trafford.
Are you a Tevez fan, Ian?
I think he's a talented footballer, you can't say that. So what he said about him putting a shift in, that was something that was definitely appreciated at United. Would you agree with that, Ian?
I'd agree, yeah. He was... he could run and run. You know, whether he wasn't played in the correct position or he wasn't used in the right way at United. I mean, he always used to come off the bench. I think, you know, he is a hard-working player. His record, he wasn't that great at United for scoring. You know, that's the way it was. I mean, I think finances are involved with it as well. It was purely a financial decision, I think, was not taking up with Tevez. And obviously going for Owen was a lot more better value option.
Also, we've moved into the realms of finance. There's a great German word called Schadenfreude. There's no exact English translation, but it means taking pleasure out of your enemy's woes or other people's woes. So at the moment, there is let's look at Fred's face. That's Schadenfreude.
No, we can't wait.
That is Schadenfreude.
It's like a greyhound in the trap ready to go.
But I have to say, me personally, Ian, I would not want to see United become a lesser force because of finance. In the same way, I'd hate to see Liverpool go down the tubes. Whether you like them or you don't, they are major football clubs.
Finances shouldn't be the reason for your position in the league table. You know, United have always been a strong club, created their own money, never been in any kind of debt, you know, and always did well. We've had someone who's come in, mortgaged the club, put us, you know, in a precarious position. Now, you know, it's been laid out in black and white through their own bond prospectus. trying to inform people what could actually go wrong. And that's what the Supporters Trust and the supporters associations were telling fans for 5 years, for a long, long time, about the dangers, where they've had to publicise it themselves now. And, the penny's dropped with a lot of supporters, and they've realised the danger. And maybe because of the position that City are in now, where, they are a cash-rich club, it's brought it, to the forefront more, and it's been more difficult. But I don't believe the table should reflect how much, how rich your owner is. It's about the club, it's about the community, it's about the supporters. And it's a shame that the authorities, people who are meant to be guardians of the game, Premier League, the FA, UEFA, aren't doing more to protect those positions. It gives me no pleasure to actually see the trouble that Liverpool are in because of two men who have come in, mortgaged the club, and it's affecting them on the field. You know what? I want a Liverpool team that I'm going to be playing each season, and I want that rivalry there, the same as I want it with City. You know what? I'd like to see Leeds back in the Premier League. It's a shame what happened to them. I don't want to see teams relegated or go out of business because of people coming in, mortgaging clubs, putting them in debt, ripping off the fans. Our tickets have doubled in price since the Glazers took over. Our loyalty is being traded and bought and sold, and that can't be right. And I want to see the authorities step in and try and put something in place to protect clubs and protect fans.
Well, one of the things that interested me this week, Patrick Barclay writes in the Times, a very fine writer, he had one serious pop at Alex Ferguson and what he perceives as his role in United's current woes. I noticed there was a voice, and I believe it was a voice, saying that Alex Ferguson should resign and maybe become some kind of figurehead for the anti-Glazer move.
Alex Ferguson is very loyal to his staff, very loyal to his players that he's brought through, and he wants what is going to be good for United on the pitch. I'm sure he's not interested in the business. As long as the finances are there for him to buy players, for him to carry on with his work on the pitch. He wants United to be successful. He wants, to knock Liverpool off their perch and whatever that takes. I would like to see more support from Alex Ferguson, but it's going to be very, very difficult. It's going to be very, very difficult in his...
he's nodded off on his money.
It's going to be very, very difficult with the current ownership. They don't like dissent. They can't afford to have dissent. I mean, you may have saw the protest in the ground at the weekend when a flag was unfurled, and it was basically, like a police state. The stewards were down on people. People were pinned against the wall. There was, 12-year-old kids thrown out for just being near the flag. The way they've reacted to any kind of dissent is over the top. So I don't think Alex Ferguson and, players like Gary Neville, who've come out with his comments today saying, it's of no interest to him. They're their employers. They've got to look after their own jobs. And Ferguson wants to look after his team around him, and I quite understand that. I personally, and the Supporters Trust and the Supporters Associations, are not calling for Ferguson to go. We don't think that's the way forward. We will be at our most vulnerable when Ferguson does go, and the Glazers know that, and they've detailed that themselves in the prospectus that they've put out. If Ferguson goes, we're in so much trouble. We're in so much trouble because we've got to take a massive gamble on another manager, and who knows what's going to happen. I mean, look what's happened at City, with Mark Hughes. I mean, the expectations there, for people to form straight away. We can't afford to drop out of the top four. If we drop out of the top four, it's real problems. It's going to be a big gamble when Ferguson does go. So I can understand people calling for for him to go and come out behind the fans, but it's not going to happen. And I don't think we really should be calling for it. At the end of the day, we love United and we dislike the current ownership, and we want to see something put in place instead of handcuffing Ferguson's hands behind his back, because that's effectively what it is. He's got the debt of the Glazer like a millstone hung round his neck. You're not telling me that he doesn't want to buy and that he doesn't want to strengthen the squad.
Thank you so much for your contributions, Fred. I know you enjoyed the last bit. Many, many thanks to Fred Pratt, of course, and to Ian Sterling. Hope you've enjoyed the Football Debate Show. Ian and myself will be sat right here, same time next week on Channel M, and we'll have two more guests, and we'll be doing our very, very best to put the football world to rights. See you then.
See ya.